Hello, this is Tegan,
And I'm Katie.
and this is our place-based lesson plan for social studies. So we decided to do a Kansas Day activity. So the date is January 29th. This is for 4th grade.
And it's taking place back in my hometown, Dighton, Kansas. And then, so the social studies standard we chose are societies experience continuity and change over time, as well as relationships between people, places, idea, and environments are dynamic. So we also integrated literacy as well into our lesson, and the standard we used is use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to compose opinion pieces in which they tell a reader the topic or the name of the book they are writing about, and state an opinion or preference about the topic or book. And then we have a few essential questions listed, and it's who lived in a sod house, what items might you find in a sod house, as well as how is a sod house built.
And our lesson objective is students will be able to draw their own interpretations of what they saw and observed while on a field trip to the sod house.
Okay, and then for the assessment, we will have students do an informal assessment by completing a drawing of what they saw and observed while visiting the sod house. We will also do an informal interview with the students where they describe the differences between houses then and now. So moving down to the essential questions. No, we already talked about that. The disciplinary literacy. We have Kansas Day, sod house, and prairie. These are just a few words that they need to know. And then
some materials for this lesson. So we have the book, The Sod Houses on the Great Plains by Glenn Rounds, paper, colored pencils, crayons, and markers, technology. Students will have their iPads to Google pictures of the sod houses for their drawings and interpretations. Resources, we have primary and secondary images, and then the setting is the classroom.
Okay, so in the beginning, for the preparation, we need parents to sign forms for field trips. We will have to come up with a worksheet, which will be pictured down below, and then to check out the book from the library.
And then at the beginning of the lesson plan, we have students stand up, hand up, pair up, which is a Kagan strategy that we learned where students will walk around, and when the teacher says so, they'll put their hands together and kind of clap, and that's how they connect and make a partner. And they will discuss questions like who might live in a sod house, what items might you find in or around a sod house, and how is a sod house built. After reading the book, we'll discuss as a whole group the same questions, and students will probably have some deeper answers about this because they didn't know anything before.
Okay, and so this is where the middle portion is where we will go and take our field trip. We will travel to the local sod house there in Dighton, Kansas, where they will get a personal tour, and then we will also go to the museum there, and the students will get to learn all about bison, meadowlark, life on the plains, and also the state song. But coming up in our video shortly, here it is actually, is a tour just on the outside of the sod house back home. I'll let you view that for now.
So this is where the students will go. This is the outside of the sod house, where they will get to learn all about it.
So, just a little fun fact here for you, Dr. Clark. I grew up this is my hometown, so we traveled to the museum, which is literally a good walking distance from elementary school. It's like 2 blocks. And we toured the sod house many times throughout my elementary school years. It's pretty cool.
Kind of what gave her the idea, I think, for the place-based lesson plan, because it's something she remembers and she really enjoyed as a student, which is what we want our students to make those kind of connections.
Yeah. And then down here in the front, right here, oh, they can't see it. That's funny. There's a little skull for you.
Thank you, little skull. We're glad you could join us.
Okay, so after the field trip to the sod house and the museum, we are going to head back to the school, and for our end assessment, we will have students create a drawing with a caption. They will draw their own interpretations of what they saw and observed while on our field trip to the sod house. And then they will also write a caption to go along with their picture.
Here is the students will have their iPads so they can kind of Google some sod houses, some different types if they are struggling to draw their own. And then we said older students, we would allow them to actually take their iPads on the field trip and take pictures. And then here is our worksheet. So in that little square, they will draw their own interpretation. And then down below, they will write their caption. And we want them to at least have one full sentence.
Okay, then moving up, we have the rubric or the criteria for our assessments. So students, to get full points, they will need to draw their interpretation of a sod house in their own creative way. Students should use a variety of colors and have a sentence caption to go along with it. And they will be docked if they don't have a sentence, so points will go down. And then student behavior on the trip, to get full points for that, you have to have full attention while the speakers are presenting. You need to use your hands, no outbursts, and then no actions are needed to be used on the students if they do misbehave. But if they do misbehave and there's some actions that were needed and some outbursts, then they will dock points. And then for the informal student interview, students will compare sod house from then and then now to their houses now and describe 3 or more differences in the 2 houses.
And that is about it for our lesson. We had a lot of fun writing this and coming up with it because it reminded us a lot of our times in elementary school and all of the different locations we got to visit and stuff we learned about. And we thought this would be super fun for Kansas Day.
Yes, for sure. Even though it might be a little snowy on January 29th, it's okay because it was snowy every now and then when we went, but they always had like little space heaters in the sod house just to keep us warm. And then students could also take a bus when that happens. So there's tons of different options for that.
Thanks.
Bye, Dr. Clark.
We will miss you.
Always and forever.
Block C.